Peter,
Peter.
yeah. Peter. Yeah, sorry, Peter. Yeah, so Saman calls me Pedro, and I don't know why, but then he calls me that. So then everybody involved in that, basically that whole community call me that. Um, I
Okay.
don't have an explanation for it, um, but I weirdly, I don't know, was Bebo ever a thing outside of Ireland? But we used to have this social networking website, like before Facebook and MySpace and stuff, and I think I have my name. My surname is White, and I have my name as Pedro Blanco on that.
Okay.
And then I think I used that on my Instagram. So maybe he saw it there and then just took it from there. But I don't know. Yeah, you're the first. You're not the first person to actually think that my name is Pedro. It's not. Just shows the reach that Savan has. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
Um,
Doing well.
Speaking of names, you know he calls you Jelly Toast.
Jelly toast. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
like Jelle Hoste, and then that after one person said Jelle Hoste to him once, and then he was like, "Oh, what about that guy Jelly Toast?" Like for the whole rest of the weekend.
yeah. It doesn't matter. He does what he wants.
Yeah, yeah. Um, how's things? Are you like exhausted now? Are you deep in games training? Is this like harder than you thought it was going to be, or it's about the same?
I'm deep in games training, yes, but I'm not like exhausted or like smashed or something. So I track really well how I rest and how I train. And if it's too much, we scale it a bit down. If it's too easy, we scale it up. So no, it's basically in a good balance. And I'm in a good situation now to recover well. So things go well, I think.
Hmm. What's your? Have you got a wife or a girlfriend or anything?
Yeah. Uh, Fiance. That's
Okay.
the status currently.
And what does she do for
For
work? For
living,
work, I
or
mean, yeah, yeah, for work.
she is what's it called? She's a medical imager, so she takes like
Okay,
the
like X-rays and
MRIs,
that kind of
X-rays, all
stuff.
these
Okay,
kind of stuff. Yes.
okay, because I'm trying to like like the life of a CrossFit athlete is kind of weird, isn't it? Like it's weird. It's like sometimes it's like you have no job, sometimes it's like you have no life. Like you're just kind of. Oh, I need to go and train for a couple of hours, and then it's like, all right, I need to go and train for like 2.5 days. I'll be back on Wednesday. So like I'm trying. Like, I guess if she's doing kind of shift work and stuff as well, I suppose you kind of maybe pass each other like ships in the night sometimes.
Yes, indeed, but it's quite well. My trainings are pretty structured, and I also have my job. So yeah, when I train, it's usually before work, and when I train, it's late in the evening on the days I work. And on the other days, yeah, she comes home at noon and we eat together. So we see each other like more than I was full-time working, actually.
So you're still working. You're IT consultant, is it?
Yeah,
And
correct.
you're still doing that.
Yes, but I reduced my hours a little bit to 60%. So now I'm basically working 3 full days.
Okay.
So one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off. And I found it like the best routine for me so far.
And you basically like answer the phone and say, turn it off, turn it back on again. And then if that doesn't work, call me back. That's your job pretty much.
Yeah, you can apply if you want. You know already 50%.
Yeah. It's the other 50% that I'd fall apart on. It's the like I can
Okay.
get that bit, and then once like, no, that didn't work, I'm like, all right, let me just put you through to Yellow. I'm just gonna Yeah, you could hire me. I could do 20% of your 60%. And I could just field those lower end calls. I'd just be like, is it plugged in? Or like take the cable out and put it back in again. And what is it Microsoft you work for?
No, I'm working for a consulting firm, Delaware.
Okay.
So they basically hire me to companies to, yeah, to do some projects, to give them support, to set up new infrastructures and make sure all the systems are connected with each other. And yeah, it's actually nice because I'm a guy that needs a lot of variation. That's also one of the reasons I like CrossFit
Yeah.
because you basically never do the same thing. And in my job, it's the same. It's like I keep working for the same company, so it's like pretty stable and yeah, uh, how do you say it?
Consistent.
You're no, like you have the secure income,
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but if you are tired of doing something, you switch to another client, you do another project, you can even switch teams within the company because it's so big and it happens a lot. And that's, yeah, they focus on keeping the people and not like squeezing every bit of
Yeah.
energy out of the people to maximize their profit, just like, okay, we want to keep the people for as long as possible and keep them happy. And I think that's why it works so well at the moment.
And when you reduce your hours, did you say like, "Oh, I'm pretty big dick in CrossFit now. I need to reduce my hours," or like, how, like, do you have to give a reason, or you just say like, I'm just gonna reduce my hours, please?
Uh, Before I wanted to keep that completely separate, like my work and my private life, but in the end, I yeah, they started following me on Instagram, they followed me on social media, and yeah, they connected dots why I'm sometimes late at work in the morning because I have a longer session.
Why you've got
And
like
now,
ripped hands and yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
when you come at work like a little bit late, like all sweaty because you rushed into the shower, rushed into the car, and I know they like even organize watch parties for the games and everything.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
it's pretty. They know what I'm doing. They're following me, and when it's actually them that said like, "Are all these professional athletes like working full time?" I'm like, "No. Why don't you reduce your hours?" And then like, yeah, then I reduced it to 80% like 2 years ago, and now
Hmm.
from January I did it to 60%. And yeah, it's a big difference.
That's cool. God, sounds like a good company to work for. Um, so I was looking up some of your like numbers and that kind of stuff. um, you have a really, really good website. I just want to get that out of the way first. So like, I don't know who I did you do that yourself?
Yeah, I made it myself like last year in the
It's
off season.
so good. Like, because it's so rare that you search someone and usually I have to watch like loads of episodes of podcasts or loads of vlogs or whatever. But literally, you have like pretty much everything detailed, like a nice little summary of who you are, what you're about. And then you also have like, oh, click the results page. And I was like, oh man, this is the mecca of like figuring out like when did someone start making it or when was there a moment or whatever. So thank you for that because that made life really easy for me. Um, but I was looking and so did you qualify for the 2020 games for that stage one?
Yeah, I qualified, but it's like a national champion qualification. So
Okay.
then they reduced the field to a limited amount of athletes that are going, and yeah, that's why I
So
didn't
would
go.
you do you still count as a rookie this year then? Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
I never been there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, because I think there's a lot of people that got shafted by that they qualified for that stage one and then were discounted as a rookie then the next time and it's like, come on, it's not the same thing.
Oh,
Like it's not it shouldn't count. Um so you qualified you've been national champion of Belgium since like Belgium was discovered, basically. You've like basically consistently been national champion. And then you qualified for the games through that, like technically, and then they reduced the field or whatever. Then they changed the system. So 2021, you came 123rd in quarterfinals in 2021 in Europe, and then you came 287th in 2022, and then you came like say 44th this year and fourth and semifinals, and then on to the games. What happened between 2021 and 2022? Because it's unusual. Usually, you just see like a steady, like a jump, and then a bigger jump, and then a jump. Whereas you kind of went up and then back down and then back up. A huge jump then between say last year and this year.
no, if you if you look into detail to the scores, it's like I'm 200 something without the first score locked, and that was the issue last year that I didn't make it to the semifinals. Technically, I made it. Like my performances were good enough, but there was an issue with the time zone conversion and with the like the submission date.
Okay.
because we change summer and winter hour in a certain weekend, and in the States it's a different weekend. But
Yeah.
for us, it was on a weekend where the hours change. So normally I already logged my scores like for like 3, 4 years at 9 p.m. in the evening. But like at Friday and Saturday, the submission deadline was at 8. And Sunday, then when the hour was changed, it was at 9. So yeah, I didn't check. 100% my fault. I didn't convert the time zone into our time zone. So the submission deadline, and the first workout was something with handstand push-ups, which is a weakness of me and then where I was held back off last year. So I said I will do that workout, and it went okay. But I said like if I can win here like 10, 15 more seconds, then at least I know I did everything. So I redid that workout the latest possible to have a full recovery at 8, thinking I could log my score at 9. Uh, but at 8, 5 or 6 or something, I felt already like, yeah, I'm not hitting my split times. Fuck it. I stop. I log my first score.
Oh
And then
no.
at 8, 5 or 6, I'm on my PC. Okay, let's log. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Submission deadline closed. What is this? It's an error of the website, and then you start to realize like it's not an error. You fucked up.
So had you not tried to just get that 1% better, if you had just done it, logged it straight away, you would have been totally fine. But the fact that you waited and gave yourself opportunity.
Yeah, but it's I think back in that year, like everybody waited to log at the
Yeah.
latest moment because you see other people score, and I think this year it was not like this, but the year before it was like this. So everybody basically waits till the last moment to not give them an advantage or a time to beat. But actually that year they fixed that already, but you didn't know until you logged the first
Yeah.
score. Maybe you know somewhere, but at least I didn't know. I assumed that it was the same like the year before, and I wanted to wait at the last moment,
Did
and
you
that's
do the
why
rest? Did you do the rest of the workouts then?
yeah, we finished. Just the mood was not very high to do it, but I wanted to know where I'm at, if
Yeah.
progress was made, and to see where I need to work on for the years to come. So yeah, and that's also when I think if I placed my score in the leaderboard, I saw I would have qualified like at 30th spot or something in Europe. So that would have been my first year normally.
Like, what's the reaction to that then? So you do the rest of the workout. So I assume you're distracted by. You're obviously angry and you're annoyed and frustrated at yourself initially, and like probably, you
Yeah,
know,
but I was that was the year that Manon came over to here, Manon Angonis, who's also qualified for the games now. And we were like, okay, we fucked up for that one, but maybe we can,
yeah,
because we had all the recording times, the times, it was even already uploaded to YouTube. So we had the YouTube upload time. So we were in the process with mailing back and forth to Adrian Bosman and with the CrossFit HQ, like to prove like we did it at the right time. We just were unsure about the submission deadline and everything. So if we did not the rest of the workouts, we were like lost for sure.
yeah.
So our motivation was like, okay, let's do it as good as we can, and let's hope they fix it for us, or yeah, I don't know. But in the end, it was they didn't fix anything.
And what
They
were their
couldn't also.
were they just like no sorry, or were they like was there, did it seem like there was hope, or were they just like no man?
Mm, there was not much hope. I all the time had hope when I like wrote the email with all my heart, like we worked so hard for this, like 1 year we dedicate, because yeah, we sacrificed so many things, and then it's like, okay, if you read this, you cannot like ignore it, and then it's like, yeah, man, sorry, if we grant this,
Yeah.
it will have like a ripple effect on all the other edge cases and things in the gray zone, and then yeah, we cannot do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what was your mood like afterwards then? So say you finished on the Sunday, did you just like sit in a room in silence for like 4 days, avoiding other people, or like what's your response to that?
No, it was like when I got like the second or the third email of Adrian, it was like very clear that like we fucked up, nothing we can do about it, and it was like, yeah, we take 2 days off, and I had already qualified for some off-season competitions, so it was directly like, okay, we shift focus. Like the French Throwdown then was like my semifinals, and yeah, shift mind to another goal actually.
You came second that year, didn't you, in France?
Yeah, indeed. So
Um, so yeah, that has to give you a bit of redemption then, a bit of like, oh, it's actually I actually get, especially I suppose your other scores in semi-finals, meaning you would have qualified technically in 30th, and then coming
mhm,
second in French Throwdown, you're obviously like, okay, our ducks are actually in a nice little row here. We're not way off
yeah,
base. It's not fitness that held me back, or it's not, you know,
yeah.
workout strategy or whatever. Who was your coach then?
Then I was still working with Facundo
Oh,
from
so
Mayhem.
was that Mayhem then, technically?
Yeah,
Okay.
indeed.
And then so you're with Andre Houdet now, you're with No Shortcuts now. And so
Yes.
is Manon is as well, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I switched to Andre like 1 or 2 weeks after Mano.
Okay. And what was it about him that made you want to switch?
Yeah, I was like training with Facundo for over 3 years, and I just had like the feeling that it's time for change and time for something new. And I just signed up for a 7 day free trial, and I was like shocked by the structure and the insights he gave in the program. And like, yeah, I'm a very structured person myself, and seeing that it was like, whoa, it's nice. And then I followed
Yeah,
that
he
for
he
like,
writes like essays. His
yeah,
notes are like pages of him
yeah,
and Taylor Self from Self Made. They're the two that I've seen like on Fitter who's just it's just like reams of like and do this and you should feel like this and if it doesn't feel like this then do this and
mhm.
substitute this in for this and it's like it's huge depth of detail.
Yeah, and that's what I liked actually. I did it then for 1 month or more. Like he reached out to me, like I think he reached out to everybody that starts the program, just like, hi, these are our values. We work like this. If you need anything or something, let me know. And after 1 month, I said like, I like the program a lot, but my goals are like to make to the CrossFit Games. So I wanted like 100% fit to my needs, like
Mm.
working more on my weaknesses. And yeah, we jumped on a call, and directly it was like he turned that in an individual program with the same structure. And yeah, I like it. I still like it.
So that was that uh so this is a full you've had a full season now of Andre, is that right?
How, yeah, since December actually.
Okay.
So full season so far, 6 months, seven
Yeah, so
months.
about like a couple of months of off season and then like open quarterfinals and so on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And what are the differences then? So obviously it's the fact that you said it's fully individualized. Was your previous programming fully individualized then? No.
it was also individualized, but how can I say? It was with Facundo. It was a lot more volume, and sometimes yeah, I didn't feel it why I needed to do that much volume in certain moments in the stage. And like Andre, to give an example, says like up until semifinals, the volume doesn't need to be so smashing because at semifinals you only have like 6 workouts, 2 workouts a day. The volume is not big,
Yeah.
and then we focus more on like making every workout count. And every time we do a workout, we do it with an intention. We do it with a certain goal we want to hit, and just my body feels a lot better. I didn't have an injury since then, and yeah, every time I feel something, we adapt, and I think that's the key. And like staying healthy and keep pushing. If you get injured for 2 weeks, you lose 2 weeks of training and 2 weeks getting back into training, and it's like a month you lost. And now I can like consistently progressing.
And did you feel so? Were you getting injured more before you moved? Was the volume? Do you think causing injuries basically,
Yes, but
or like niggles? I suppose.
Yeah, like overuse issues, like the knee a little bit swollen, the wrist, the elbows, the shoulder, always like little things. It's not one thing is the volume I did, but I think it's also a big factor that I didn't recover from it. I didn't work like 60% by then, so I sometimes traded in sleep for training, and I didn't eat like I eat now. And yeah, I just thought like put in the work and the rest will be fine, but putting in the work, the training is like just a small part of it.
Um, it's interesting because like I've heard a few people say on different like platforms and stuff say
Fuck.
that it's okay. You're nervous. It's fine. I've heard a few people say on different platforms and stuff that like mayhem is great for getting you like to a certain point, and then once you get to that point, you'll just stay there. Like that, it gets you to it might get you to from a quarterfinals athlete to a semifinals athlete, and then you just that'll be your new level, or it'll get you to the games, and you'll be like inside say the games circle, but you'll just be inside the game circle. Or like if you're already, it might get you to a top 10 athlete, but it'll just keep you at a top 10 athlete, that it doesn't have the capacity to push you into fighting for a podium if you don't already have that in your arsenal. And that, like, say a lot of people join mayhem because they're like, well, Rich, like, oh, Rich is unbelievable, but then if Rich isn't there, or if you're training in Belgium and like everyone else is in Cookville, you're not getting the push from Rich that's, like, as advertised, I guess.
Mhm.
um would you say that are they like accurate assessments, do you think?
It's I cannot 100% tell because I had the opportunity to work a lot with Facundo individual. Like before Facundo was even like yeah having a proper title in Mayhem, we were already working together, and he lives in Brussels, so he lives like 1 hour or something from
Yeah.
me, and we had regularly sessions together with one or two training partners. So these are like incredible valuable. Um, and this was also one of the main reasons that I stayed with Facundo. Like, yeah, he comes back from Mayhem, he comes back from big competitions, and he basically shares all the experiences, all the things he saw, he learned. So yeah, that was if I didn't have that, maybe yeah, I would have switched earlier. But these are so valuable that you learn a lot from it.
Is Facundo a good coach, do you think?
He's a he's a good coach, but he has a certain style. I think all the coaches have different styles, and like he's 180 degrees opposite of the style of Andre. I learned a lot from his style. It's more like how do you say it? Like chaos, like unstructured, and like uh, I think he even has a psychology master, so he's like a good talker, and he's in terms of mindset, he can help you a lot. But where Andre has like more, really, I feel like it's backed up by theory. He studied it, he did it himself. He's a games athlete himself. It's like he's doing the program himself. So if I feel like the volume is too high, I know like Andre is doing the same, so he will feel the same, and he will probably adapt accordingly like the week after.
Hmm.
So maybe
Unless he
mentally that's
doesn't, and then
also
you're
hard.
like, oh shit, there's something wrong with me. He's not. He still hasn't changed it.
Yeah, yeah, but
It's like my
that's
impression of
also
Andre is like he's like a mix between like scientist and military. Like everything
yeah.
is like there's like stoicism, like that's his thing of like just calm, like no, there's no emotion attached to the programming or attached to how he trains or anything or how he competes. And then the I just everything's so structured like that. It's like you could
Mhm.
follow. I like anyone would be able to follow it. That you wouldn't need anything explained to you because it's so linear and detailed and structured and everything. But then, like you say, everything's theory. That it's like you know I know he used to work with like a strongman coach, and he used to work with a strength coach, and he has all these different like specific individuals that gave him. He basically has all these little mini degrees that he's done through
Hmm.
actually doing it rather than sitting in a classroom. So then he has
Yeah.
this that he's bringing to you, and then I suppose it probably helps. You're both like you're similar stature, aren't you? You're both like similar height and similar build.
I'm a big, taller, a little bit taller than him, but
Yeah,
yeah, he's not a small guy either. I think he's
yeah. He's not like
180
it's not
something.
like yeah, like Colton Mertens is doing your programming. It's
No, no,
like
no,
fairly similar. Yeah,
no, but it's correct. He's very analytical, like indeed like a scientist, and that's what I like. I'm also more like this, so it's
yeah,
like more complementary to how I think, how I live, how I analyze my own technique and everything. So that's nice.
yeah. Yeah, I guess your line of work is all ones and zeros. Like it's like binary, like it's either working or it's not working. Like yeah. That's interesting though. Another thing I read that so you were kind of starting to take CrossFit seriously, and then COVID lockdowns, all that kind of stuff, and you turned your attic into a gym, in like you transformed it into a gym. Um, you were surely pretty limited on what you could do. Like I'm thinking of like you're not going to do like deadlifts. You're not going to do like snatches or cleans. Like
I did.
you'll end up in the sitting room, like next to your girlfriend with the bar on the ground. Like if you do one bad lift,
We yeah, I had some very, how do you say it?
close shaves.
Yeah, indeed. I even like injured my knee once by saving a 120 snatch on my attic
Fuck.
because yeah, you can adapt your workouts, but you cannot adapt it for like 2 years. So in the beginning, I was very easy and like testing a little bit the limits, what can and what can't. In the end, we were basically doing everything. I even so in my attic, it's like an extra level of the house,
Yeah,
but you also have the wooden structure that keeps
yeah.
the how do you say it the
The
roof of
roof.
the house
Is it
together.
is it like a pitched? Is it like a triangle? So
Yeah,
it's like
it's like
short.
this.
It gets the further away from the center you get, the lower the ceiling gets. Like
Yes, indeed. And you have all the wooden structure here. So I had a rig attached to the wall, but I wanted to do bar muscle ups, so I cut two of those wooden structures, and then I could like just do it in the top of the roof, my bar muscle ups. So yeah, bar muscle ups, rope climbs, strict ring muscle ups. Like I bought like very big drop pads, so I
okay,
could
yeah.
do also like deadlifts and everything.
Did you check first? Were you like, what's the weight limit of the floor? You know, like the way people
Yeah,
talk about moving weight versus static weight.
yeah. But I calculated on static weight, and there the contractor of our house said like 300 kilos per square meter is like easy. But then I was thinking like if you drop a deadlift
Yeah,
bar,
yeah,
it's probably more than like 300 kilos.
yeah. Do you
Yeah,
still
but
live in the
it's
same house?
yeah, it's
Have you still got like the rig and stuff upstairs?
no the rig. No, I moved outside in
Okay.
the end of Corona because I was also doing morning workouts, and like the attic is like just the level above the sleeping room. So if I did like double unders or something at 6:30, and my wife had like a late shift, so yeah, she didn't like it.
Yeah, I'd say
She you
you
hear
can't
it.
really do double unders on drop pads. It's not really going to work.
No, indeed. But
Yeah,
like just if you move like a little bit when you sleep, you hear it. So if you do double unders and like snatches,
yeah.
yeah, it's horrible. Also, the rig make it's like attached to the ground, so the ceiling from the bedroom, and
So
it
her like
makes
the chandelier or the light or whatever is like shaking back and forth every time you do something.
yeah. We also have
Yeah.
some cracks and everything, so yeah,
Do you own the house? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, right. I was imagining your landlord coming back, being like, "What the fuck is this thing upstairs? Where's the middle two rafters gone? Why is there a gap the size of your head in the middle of this part of the house?" That's really funny. It probably shows the difference as well between me and you, where I can only do double unders outside here because the ceilings, like, I'll just hit the roof or whatever. Um, but I just didn't do double unders for like a year because I was like I remember at one point time toying with the idea of there's we live in a 2-story house, but there's nothing above this room. It's just like a pitched roof or a lean-to or whatever. And I remember being like, I wonder if I put out a square and got rid of the two beams that are in that square, and then just had it big enough for
Then
skipping or whatever. And then I was just like, ah, fuck it, it's not worth it. Whereas like the difference between me and you then is you're like, right, if I take this out, I'll be able to do this, I'll be able to do that. You know, it's just it's the
we
determination I don't have.
we even like, because before we turned it into a home gym, the attic, there was like no concrete.
Okay.
And then I was like there with like a barbell above my head. Okay, so it's 2 meters 65. And then we measure to the ground, and then we can only put like 2 centimeters of concrete if I want 1 centimeter of mats. And like every snatch was like, yeah, a hair from the ceiling. So it
Yeah.
was all, if I put the wrong shoes, I hit the ceiling.
Yeah, we've like it's just out of shop, but there's like a light hanging down. I've broken it like 6 times. I've just like, I just hear like a pop and there'll just be glass everywhere because I won't be thinking where I am and I'll hit it with a dumbbell or something. Yeah, it's good fun. Training at home is great. Um, so before you did CrossFit, judo was your big thing.
Yeah.
And you were good, like very good. Like you were like national, like again, national champion. You love being national champion. Doesn't matter what the sport is. How did you start doing judo?
Yeah, it was, I started actually with soccer, and then I did some running, and then some weight training, like fitness. And then it was like a friend, yeah, I was a little bit tired of soccer, and then a friend told me, yeah, I'm doing judo like in a club nearby if you want to join. Then I went with that friend, and just like without a judo gi, like with the training, and I liked it. I got smashed. I got like smashed the first 1 or 2 years, because if you start late, the first thing you learn in judo is like learning how to fall, because it's
Oh yeah,
very important that you fall well in order to, yeah, sustain trainings where you throw each other. So in the beginning, it's like very boring. You get smashed all the time, but that's what I like. If I suck at something, I cannot accept it. I just want to see why I suck at it and keep showing up until, yeah, it's
yeah.
getting
Again,
better.
another glaring difference between me and you, Yeli. I just wouldn't have gone back the second day. I'm like, no, I'm okay, thanks. No, fuck that. Um, so explain judo to me then. So there's a lot of those, like in my mind, a lot of those sports are very similar. Like there's kind of maybe 5 or 6 different disciplines of martial arts that I'm like, I don't know which is different from which. So there's grappling in it or no?
Yeah, judo competition basically always starts standing up, and then you can earn points by throwing somebody. So if you
Okay.
throw, so we were the white judogis. So it's
Yeah.
not like wrestling when it's like, so you have a lot of more
You can
techniques.
grab like
You
clothes or whatever as
can
well.
grab the sleeves and the lapel, or how is it called? So you start like this, and then you can throw somebody. If you throw him flat on the back, it's like ippon and it's done. You won. But if you throw him, it's like more on the sides or not super clean, then you can continue on the ground. Then it's
And do you get a
basically,
point if you throw him on his
yeah,
shoulder? You still get a point. So then, is part of that thing that you're talking about falling is if you're in midair falling on your back, you have to try and find a way to turn so you're not landing on your back, basically.
yeah, they adapted already a lot the rules since I did started judo. Because before you could do judo, it's like grabbing the legs and everything. Like after 4 or 5 years, I did judo, they banned that because there were like a lot of just Olympic wrestlers that showed up and beat all the judo guys by doing wrestling techniques. And to bring like the nice proper judo techniques back, they banned that. So you cannot use the legs anymore or grab the legs. So you have to throw them with upper body throws.
And is it all throwing? Like, could you just like when he says 3, 2, 1, go? If everyone's expecting people to like grab and pull and stuff, could you just like run at him like a bull and just like like fuck him onto his back?
Yeah, but you are also fighting with people who are used to throw you as well, so
Okay, yeah, yeah,
you're better a bit careful and build up the. If you run at somebody, yeah, you're most likely to get thrown.
yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I probably wouldn't do very well in that sport. But you don't hit or kick or anything. It's just like kind of tripping
No,
and pulling and like pushing and throwing, basically.
yeah, indeed. And when you hit the ground and it's not finished yet, you can continue, and then it's basically a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match until the referee stops you. There are
Okay.
there is limited time on the ground actually. When they see no movement anymore, it's stop, stand back up, and then you start again from standing up. You have like
Okay, so you don't pin. It's like you literally have to have the
you
slap of the back on the ground for it to count as. You can't like
you
push the other person onto the back when they're on their side or whatever.
yeah, you can, but it needs to be continuously. Like
Okay.
you throw him, you go directly on him, you go for an armbar or choke him, but
Okay.
you cannot like wait a little bit and take your breath. It's like when they see the movement stops, it's like okay, mate, so that means stop, and then you stand back up and start again.
And can you tap out? Like, can you force someone to tap out by hurting their leg or whatever?
Yeah, but not the leg. It's the same story. You
Okay.
can
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
arm bars, choking, but not no leg locks, no heel hooks. It's like everything above the belt.
Okay. Um. Again, I feel like I'd be way too quick to tap out. I have this weird thing about anytime I'm watching a sport like that and I see somebody getting choked or like with like even if you're watching a movie where someone does one of those like like grab someone onto the ground with the back of their calf or whatever around their neck, freaks me out. Like I can't. I feel like if
Yeah.
I just felt cloth around my neck, I'm like, no, 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 I'm good. I just feel like I'm out. Did you ever like black out or anything from being held like not tapping out?
Yeah, of course. Like everything, you test the limits, and before you know it, it's like lights out. And
You find the limit.
yeah, it actually feels good. It's weird to say, but it feels scary. And actually, you wake up and it's like, whoa, I did a very good nap of like 10 years. And then you realize, fuck, I passed out. I lost. I didn't have it on competition, only in training.
Yeah, yeah. So what you won national competitions, and then what's the next step up from there? Kind of Benelux competitions, is it between like Belgium, Luxembourg, those?
No, Benelux is like same level as Belgium, but
Okay.
then you go in indeed international. But that's like a big jump, just because it's like in judo is for me. I experienced it. It's like this. It's like hard to get better because you need all the time training partners and like good training partners and
Yeah.
training partners of the same weight. In judo, in CrossFit, you have your barbell, your machines. It doesn't matter. In judo, like if you need to get better, you need to find better partners, other
Mm,
partners. So you basically a lot of traveling to training camps. And yeah, in Belgium, we didn't have like a lot of athletes in my category. So you go
mm.
up or down, and it's not the same. Yeah,
Um, so a CrossFit gym opened. This is all from your website. Again, thank you. So a CrossFit gym opened like where you live, basically, and you're like curious, tried it, liked it. Um, so then it's funny knowing that you wrote that now because there's a line that says, within a month he had signed up for his first CrossFit competition, and although it didn't go as planned, what happened?
yeah, I sucked. I did 1 month of CrossFit. Yeah, I could walk a bit on my hands. I could climb a rope. I thought I was the king. But then the competition, oh my God, there was a snatch ladder that started at 70, then 75, and 80 I couldn't hit, but I could like almost muscle snatch it, but I could not. I didn't understand the thing yet to like
Yeah.
pull yourself under the barbell. And yeah, it was very frustrating. Yeah,
So people
I like
like when you're at that time, people must be like, "Fuck, this guy's good," and then they see that and they're like, "Oh, okay." He's obviously
he
come from another
sucks.
sport. He's obviously come from another sport, has all these like
Yeah,
prerequisite skills, but doesn't have the skills that he needs, basically.
yeah, but that's the thing. From judo, we had like a very good strength,
Yeah,
physique, performance, but we don't have the skills. So there was
yeah.
like one workout with like ski and run, and we were like skiing at 2,700 cals an hour, almost sometimes hitting 3,000, and it was team competition. And then run, and we smashed that. But then the next workout, second bar on the ladder, you're out. It's like
Yeah,
there is
or you're
some
doing like
capacity, but
strict pull-ups. You're doing like strict pull-ups instead of everyone else doing
yeah,
kipping, and you're just doing strict or whatever. Yeah, um, yeah. Because then, so this year, then, so obviously semifinals this year went much, much, much better than that first competition. Thankfully, that would have been quite embarrassing. Um, but you won the running and snatch. You won event five. You set a world record on event five, didn't you?
yeah, correct.
And you also won event one, which was the sled run, all that shit. And you also won the last event, which is the that was a sandbag toaster bar, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So I guess what we're seeing there, with the exception of the middle one, I guess, at the snatch, because obviously you're saying you needed that, like that bar that you mentioned there was lighter than the bar you had to cycle in semifinal. It was like 80, wasn't it, in semifinals?
oh yes, yes, yes. I think 80, 80 or 84, I'm not sure. It
Yeah,
was
and
LBS, so yeah.
you were stuck at 75 back that day, almost mustard it, but just not able to get there. So that's
Oh
that's kind
yes,
of
yes,
funny.
yes.
Um, but we're seeing a lot of transfer of those kind of judo skills, I suppose, like with the pulling the sled, the carry, holding the bear hug, and the sandbag, and carrying it and stuff. Um, but then also the transition into like, I mean, if they were the only skills you had, you would have been fucked on, like so badly fucked on the other events that you wouldn't have made it anyway. Um,
Mhm.
how come you're so good at running? Like, how come you're so good at machines and running, and where does that come from?
Yeah, I had like a small period when I started judo. I just did it to try out something. I wanted to play the sport. But like a little bit before that, I transitioned from soccer to running. And
Yeah.
I basically run like between I was young, 12 and 14 years old, but I run like a lot. And I was certainly inspired by my dad who was running marathons back then. So yeah, I was basically running like 2 to 2.5K kilometers a year. So, and also we did like challenges. I wanted to do my first marathon, all these things, half marathons. Yeah,
Sorry, go back. You were running. Did you say 2 to 2.5 thousand kilometers a year?
yeah, indeed.
Fucking hell. Okay, so you really, really liked it then.
Yeah, there was also a lot of competitions. Like I don't know if it exists in or how it's called in other countries, but it's like field runs. It's like running in the fields. It's like off roads, and there
Okay.
was
Yeah,
like a lot of
like cross country or trail running or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
indeed. But it's like very short, like between 15 and 25 minutes, and it's like always in the field in the mud. And I did three of those seasons, and it went very good. And I liked it, and I was yeah,
So when you started CrossFit then and you had like a rower, a skier, a bike, did it just transfer evenly into all of those then?
yeah. Because I just had to transfer like the fitness into I just had
Movement.
to learn like the technique and how to do it properly.
Mm.
Because the first time I was on a rower, I could definitely pull hard, but not for a long time. And now I can pull the same speed for longer periods just because I'm just like conservative with my energy and better technique. And yeah,
Yeah. It's funny, I was emceeing an event at the weekend and there was rowing in the event. And like you look at some people, you're like, wow, that's that really like beautiful rowing, like perfect. Then you look at someone else and you're like, my God. It's just like, but then
Hmm.
they're winning the event, and it's like, it's frustrating that someone who's like
Hmm.
grotesque form on the rower, because it's a short, like maybe whatever, 20 calories or whatever, or 16 or 12,
Hmm.
whatever, it's not noticeable. Like they never get found out by the
Yeah.
form never catches them out. And it's like, it is frustrating though when you're watching in lane 9, you have like perfect rowing technique, and then in lane 10, it's like, oh my God, but they just like get away with it or whatever. Um, so if you're going to the games then this year, are you like, have you, because you obviously have the headspace for that, you have the headspace for long distance running and that kind of stuff, you have the machine capacity, would you love a big long grind workout like that then?
Yeah, of course. I basically said it since I started CrossFit. Like, if you start CrossFit, you start to check some videos online, you watch the games, and it's like, man, these are my things, like biking, running, swimming, all the things, the heavy stuff, the yoke carries, the picks. But then if you start CrossFit, you don't have any of those
Yeah.
because local competitions, yeah, they cannot afford that. You basically only have it when you go to the games. Sometimes you have one or two things at the bigger competition, but yeah, I think it will be fun.
Yeah, Emma McQuaid calls it sad fit the rest of the time, when it's like
Fit.
when there's no, like, she loves games training, but then the rest she just calls it sad fit. She's just like, it's just not the same.
Yeah,
um so yes, is that, would you classify those kind of off-site workouts, the swimming, maybe the run, swim, run, those kind of things, are they in your head, are they the like the shoe-in workouts for you then if they come up?
yeah. I never did it against the best of the world, but these are the things, if it pops up at competition, I'm most excited for. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd hate to see?
The things I hate to see is like the workouts when you cannot really, the workouts where I'm held back by something like local muscular fatigue, where I cannot show or express like my fitness. By example, handstand push-ups, when I have to do like, imagine they say in the middle of a workout, 50 strict handstand push-ups.
Okay.
I know I will be fucked. I know I will be shaking my hands for 30 seconds between every set. And it's like, there I don't have a lot of, I don't take a lot of fun from it.
Okay.
Just with grunt work, you can always, like with running, you can always run. You run faster or slower, but there's a mental aspect where you can run faster. If I mentally say I will do this handstand push-ups very well, maybe I can have one rep more, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
finished.
Um, are you do you work with like a psychologist or anything, or a mindset person or anything? No.
No, I know a lot of games athletes do it, but I didn't feel the need or something.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Have you talked to Andre about like what you're going to like? Because obviously Madison is different. Like it's different in a lot of ways, but especially in the fact that, like, as you've mentioned, it is the best in the world that you're going to be facing up against, and it is, exhausting. Like that's the one thing you always hear from people, how exhausting it is. That obviously there's, you said there that semifinals, the volume doesn't have to be too high because it's 6 workouts, but then you go to the games and it's, anywhere up to 15, maybe even higher. And then you also have the just general fatigue of not knowing from one day to the next what time you're going to be up at, or where you're expected to be, or what you're going to have to do, and you have to carry all this shit that, like, you might not even need a belt today, but I better bring it just in case. um
Mhm.
like, are you planning on kind of discussing any of that kind of stuff, or are you going to have, is it like a games camp or anything coming up before you go?
No, but actually, I'm not really scared of the volume. Like, I know it will be hard. I know it. I will get hit a lot, and my body will be wrecked. But I've been doing like 4 or 5 years when I was in the national team of judo. You have like training camps where you wake up, you get smashed for 2 hours, then you hit a fitness session in the afternoon, and in the evening you have 2 hours of sparring again. And then you are wrecked. Like I never been more wrecked than that than after any CrossFit competition because you have
Yeah.
like the physical impact, like your muscles contracting, but you also have the external impact. You hit the ground, people hit you, yeah. And I've been like wrecked for 5 years like this, so that's how I keep my mental like healthy. Like it cannot be harder than that.
Um, do you go into this with an expectation? Like, have you any kind of thought of, like, when you went into semifinals this year, were you like, qualify or bust? Like, I need to qualify, I should qualify, I want to qualify, or were you just like, let's just go, you know, see what happens? First time at semifinals, let's see how it shakes out. Like, what was your mindset going to Berlin?
Yeah, I already like said it to Andre like back in December. He asked like, "What is your goal?" And I said like, "Games 2023." I like didn't say anything like, "Oh, that's like too high," or maybe you
Yeah.
never been to semifinals. Like, okay, let's make this work. And yeah, my I went into semifinals like really to punch that ticket. I I never hide that, and yeah, I'm happy that that it worked out.
What about the games then? If getting to the games was the aim in December, what's the aim for the games now in June or July?
Yeah, after the semifinals, if you set like world record, that means that you can win events, and I think it's hard to put a number on end ranking, but at least I went the workouts that are me and my wheelhouse, like to bring these home. That's my goal. And of course, I will give my everything in every event and see where that ends up. But if I'm top 10, I'm happy. If I'm top 30, I'm also happy. It's like I'm in the position I love to be in. It's like the underdog position. You cannot do anything wrong. You can only like do good.
Have you noticed an uptick in opportunities and stuff as well since, like, have you had companies contacting being like, "Oh, we've always loved you. We've always really admired you." It's like, "Why didn't you email me last year?" It's like, "Why are you
Yeah.
only contacting me now?" Have you noticed like a big change on that side of things, like more opportunities and being more in demand and stuff?
Um, yeah, there are a lot of opportunities, but I'll, how can I say? We optimized like the contracts I had,
Hmm.
and I didn't jump on any other things like intentionally because they ask it. Just like Pixel, like Fit8, like Kingsbox. Kingsbox provided everything for my home gym. It's perfect. I want to represent that company. They help
Yeah.
me directly. It's not like, I cannot give an example. Like somebody that says, "Yeah, wear this gloves." I don't know, but if I never wear gloves in my life, I will not promote it. Just like things come naturally,
Please,
and
please turn up to the games wearing gloves. Please. It'd be such a throwback to like 2014 or whatever, like the big like black gloves.
wear these gloves. These are the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I always wear these gloves when I'm rowing. Um, well, listen, thank you. Thanks for coming on. It's been great to get to talk to you. Good luck with the rest of your prep. Are you going over to Andre or anything before you, or are you guys? Is there a camp in America? Is there a camp in Denmark? Is there any plans for that kind of stuff?
No, we just do the final week of games prep in the States. So we go 1 week before, and
Okay.
that's the rest is just homework.
Homework. Um. Okay, and you're sure everyone in Delaware will be watching. They'll have a little watch party, will they? Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. Well, thank you. Best of luck. Enjoy your first stint at the games. It's very exciting. And
Thanks.
we'll catch up there, or we'll catch up afterwards.
Okay, thanks for having me, and
My
it was a
pleasure.
nice chat.
Yeah, it's lovely.